What's going on, everyone? Nuclear Ninjas here, and today we are taking a look at Electrode in the Open Ultra League. Electrode is a pure electric type Pokemon that maxes out at 2401 CP with Best Buddy and Perfect IVs. Its moveset is actually solid with Volt Switch, Foul Play, and Discharge, giving it strong matchups against meta Pokemon like Talonflame and Empoleon, as well as the ability to apply pressure against all the Ghost and Psychic type legendaries that run rampant in the Ultra League. This is not a pure Spice team. My goal when I run unusual Pokemon is always to create a team that is actually strong, so I combined it with XL Ferrothorn and XL Mandibuzz. When I initially built the team, I was running Thunder on Ferrothorn, but after a few battles I switched it to Mirror Shot for coverage against Charmers, so it has Bullet Seed, Mirror Shot, and Power Whip throughout the sets you're about to see. Finally, I have Mandibuzz in the back running Foul Play and Aerial Ace's charge moves. I ran Snarl in the first set and Air Slash in the second. I think overall Air Slash is probably the better move with this team comp for its increased farm down potential if Electrode soft loses the lead, but Snarl clearly isn't bad. With all that said, let's get into the battles. So jumping into my first battle, I pick up a match against Kuratatu, and we are going to be leading Electrode into Armor Mewtwo. Now, right away, what I'm thinking about this is a matchup that is pretty even, but the problem is Armor Mewtwo's stat product is so much better than Electrode that I'm almost certainly going to lose, but my opponent saves me the trouble of worrying about it by just switching into Sylveon and letting me destroy them with Ferrothorn. So obviously I'm just spamming out Mirror Shots here. In retrospect, I think arguably actually the play here is to go for Power Whip because Power Whip is more energy efficient even when Mirror Shot is super effective. I mostly just need the Mirror Shot for A9 coverage. But anyway, whether I go for Power Whip or Mirror Shot, Ferrothorn is going to be able to comfortably take out this Sylveon and also overfarm a ton of energy in the process. And probably going to come out with pretty much an entire Power Whip loaded to go after the Armored Mewtwo if it comes back in. I see the Psychic type. I'm going to throw after one Bullet Seed, which is good timing for going up against a Confusion user, and get some chip damage Artful on the Armored Mewtwo. Now you'll notice here I make a mistake. I overfarm. I was expecting him to go for the farm down here, but honestly him throwing works out fine for me anyway. Bringing the Mandibuzz, my opponent throws instantly, and I'm like, if he threw instantly, this is probably a Psy Strike. Doink. That does like nothing to Mandibuzz. I see the Fairy type, I see the Charm damage, and we go out to Electrode. Get off this Discharge, that gets the first shield. I'm going to throw 2 Volt Switches and then go for the next Discharge, and he still needs 2 more Charms to take me out, which means I can throw 1 Volt Switch and get to the next Discharge before the second Charm goes through, which is going to be some pretty heavy damage on this scramble. So obviously, my Electrode goes down there. I'm going to shield this up because it could be a close combat or play rough. It's just a resisted crunch, but honestly at this point, he's not getting to enough charge moves to make me regret shielding that anyway. They do get the defense drop, which is highly unfortunate, but then they bring in the Armor Mewtwo and just kind of concede the match. So going into my first battle there, pretty comfortable win with Electrode against a double Charm team. Hopping into my next battle, I'm going up against PokeDad 2012, and we lead Electrode into Giratina. So once again, this is a not very great matchup for Electrode, even though I can hit for super effective with Foul Play, just because Giratina has a better stat product, and it also resists the Volt Switches, so this is arguably worse than the Armor Mewtwo matchup. Anyway, I can't really switch out of this because Ferrothorn has an even worse matchup against Giratina than Electrode does, so my goal here is just to get this thing low and then get a farm with Mandibuzz. Next, Dragon Claw comes through, we get to this Foul Play here. I'm hoping also, at this point I didn't really know the matchup and I was hoping I could get to a third Foul Play, but that is very clearly not going to happen. I don't even get to a second Volt Switch there. Mandibuzz comes in, I'm just going to tank all of these Dragon Claws, none of them are a really big deal. And not quite able to farm down with Mandibuzz before they get to a second Dragon Claw, so tiny bit more damage, oh no. Now the question is what's going to come in. I see that it is a Talonflame. I'm really glad to see the Talonflame now as opposed to on my Ferrothorn, but either way this is going to be rough, especially since my Ferrothorn does not have Thunder. And unfortunately, after the first foul play, I'm not going to be able to maintain good move timing anymore because I would be farming up over 100 energy to throw 3 snarls and then launch a foul play. So 2 free turns of energy for my opponent right there. Get to this next foul play. This is probably going to force a shield, even though I'm really hoping they just let the Talonflame go down. No such luck. I'm able to get to this next... well, first the Talonflame is going to throw a Flame Charge, which we shield up because I can get to another foul play here and force the second shield. And then I'm going to hesitate for a half second before switching to let the damage register on my... I want the Incinerate damage to register on my Mandibuzz so it doesn't go onto my Ferrothorn. The opponent actually throws a Brave Bird and dip. I'm wondering if they blind through that Brave Bird before they noticed what I brought in, because obviously Flame Charge would have done it there. Flame Charge is double super effective, Brave Bird is neutral. And they have a Greedent in the back. So Greedent versus Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn wins this matchup just because I've got the stab power whips. They're throwing non-stab crunches, and my Bullet Seeds do a tiny bit more damage. But I'm really worried about how I'm going to take out that Talonflame at this point, because I definitely need energy loaded on Ferrothorn to do it, and I also don't have Thunder, and I don't think he's quite in Power Whip range. So casual catch here on the Mandibuzz to take out to take the Greedent's energy. Go into Ferrothorn, and I make the brilliant play of just throwing absolutely nothing and letting my Ferrothorn go down. Definitely should have tried to throw a move there, and hopefully maybe it's enough, even though it's massively resisted. Anyway, going up against Duojet 6128. And never mind, we are going up against Sorry, Error 6 occurred. So I go into Good Battle League, sorry, Error 6 occurred. Try to lobby up again, sorry, Error 1006 occurred. So yes, my point here is this is clearly a perfectly functioning game where absolutely nothing ever goes wrong. Picking up my next battle, I'm going up against NT51964, and we get Electrode into Obstagoon. So another neutral lead for the Electrode, and like most neutral leads, Electrode is pretty much going to lose this one, but it's going to get the Obstagoon fairly low. The Night Slash comes through. We realize I can tank 2 Night Slashes and live long enough to get off 2 discharges. But then it occurs to me while I'm in this matchup that I'm not sure I want to do that, because I need to get this thing low enough that my Mandibuzz can take it out with 1 Aerial Ace. I really don't want to have to deal with a ton of counter damage on my Mandibuzz. And obviously there's no way I can bring in Ferrothorn to this thing, because Ferrothorn would get absolutely shredded by Obstagoon. So they shield as expected, although I did farm up a bit extra before throwing just in case they no-shielded that and let me have switch. And now I can bring in the Mandibuzz. I'm expecting them to try and force a CMP tie here, so I go for the extra Snarl. The plan to get the extra Snarl works, and now I'm going to throw the Aerial Ace 1 turn before they get to their next Cross Chop. Obstagoon goes down. There's a Swampert in the back. I decide to try to catch a Hydro Cannon here, but I fail to catch, and Cresselia comes out. And this is absolutely fine, because despite how boring this matchup is, Ferrothorn actually has a really good matchup against Cresselia. I resist literally everything the Cresselia can possibly throw at me. So this is very easy no shields, and pretty much just, chipping away with Power Whip. Absolutely fascinating battle with absolutely fascinating commentary right now, I'm sure. It looks like Power Whip is going to be not quite a 3-hit KO, which is a little bit unfortunate for Ferrothorn, but, going to be over farming here, because if the Swampert comes back in, I want to have energy loaded to be able to hit it for some serious damage. And that Cresselia is now extremely low, and the Swampert comes in and is going to have to shield this Power Whip right away, basically. And then I make a swap back into Mandibuzz to pretty much just tank all of this Hydro Cannon energy. 2 Hydro Cannons won't quite take out Mandibuzz at this range. And the nice thing about the Mandibuzz versus Swampert matchup is there's absolutely no way for the Swampert to even try to farm you down. So you're going to see here I'm still at a... very low health, but against Mud Shots from a Swampert, double resisted on a super tanky Mandibuzz, that is Not really a concerning amount of health, and my opponent recognizes the GG-ness of the situation and top lefts. Jumping into my fourth match here, we're going up against Foca 5, and we pick up arguably the best lead this team can possibly see. My entire team annihilates Jellicent. We've got the Electrode dealing super effective with the Volt Switches and Discharges and Foul Plays. Not that I would throw Foul Play because it's non-stab. We've got Ferrothorn, which is a Grass type and can deal super effective with the Bullet Seeds and Power Whips. And we've got Mandibuzz, which resists the Hexes and Shadow Balls and deals super effective with the Foul Plays and Snarls. So pretty much Jellicent just has no play against this team. My opponent brings out Clefable, and this is fantastic because what this means is I'm going to be able to easily retain Switch and then just decide who I want to align against what in the end of the game to destroy the Jellicent with whoever has less play against my opponent's third Pokemon. Anyway, taking out the Clefable there with a Mirror Shot, we've got some energy loaded, and an Obstagoon comes in, and I'm going to be able to get to 2 Power Whips before this thing can actually take me out. So, pretty comfortable situation to be in right here. Getting to this next Power Whip, I suspect the Obstagoon is going to want to farm me all the way down. Drawing a shield with the Power Whip, I aggressively swap into Electrode, and my opponent does not throw in time to stop me from getting to this Discharge, which is going to put the Obstagoon pretty low. And now at this point, I can just come in with Mandibuzz. I shield this first one just in case my opponent's planning to surprise me with Hyper Beam, is basically the rationale there. And, I mean, like I said, sometimes I like to no-shield beams, but when I'm actually seriously trying to win with a team, it's not the play. And I'm going to no-shield this. Anyway, my opponent didn't have Hyper Beam anyway. And it turns out the Jellicent is Bubble Beam. And that means there's no win con left for him at this point, essentially. Because Bubble Beam is going to do nothing to Mandibuzz. I can just farm up a ton of energy here and then swap to Ferrothorn to clear my debuff. You can see I go up to, I'm not sure if that was quite 100 energy, but all but 100 energy basically. Foul Play doesn't even quite take out the Jellicent. We snipe with the Mirror Shot. Obstagoon is not quite able to counter down before we get to it, or we snipe with the Bullet Seed. But anyway, Obstagoon doesn't quite counter down before we get the Mirror Shot. My opponent recognizes it's over and doesn't bother using their shield. Going into my final match this set against Manakainolakapalapalaglaskagan. Anyway, we get a negative lead in Swampert, so we're going to safe swap Mandibuzz. I don't want to go directly into my Ferrothorn because swapping directly into your hard counter typically means you get hard countered. You can see I would have ended up against this Talonflame. And this is going beautifully for me because with the Talonflame out of the way at the end of the game, I'm going to be able to very comfortably control things with Ferrothorn. I'm hoping this is his only answer to Ferrothorn. Having some issues with my throat being dry today. Anyway, so we go for this Foul Play against the Talonflame, and I am actually going to be able to basically either take him out or force both shields here in this matchup. Let's see what my opponent decides to do. They elect to go down 2 shields. And then for some reason, I guess they lost track of my energy. They decided to throw when they could have just farmed me all the way down there. Which means now Electrode can come in and take out this Talonflame without even having to tank a move. And we are looking absolutely great. I shield this up because I don't want Electrode to go down quite yet. And then I'm going to throw a Foul Play here, just to kind of chip because I want to get my energy out of the way, and then just in case they counter Ferrothorn with what's in the back, I could farm up more with Electrode later and still be able to apply pressure to the Swampert. But anyway, there's a Cresselia in the back, so this is going to be a pretty comfortable win. We already saw the super fascinating Ferrothorn versus Cresselia matchup earlier, and this one is even better because this Cresselia doesn't appear to be running Future Sight. So I'm probably just going to edit this one, speed things up till it gets interesting again, and get back to you guys in a minute. Alright, so we overfarmed a bit. We land this power whip. My opponent aggressive swaps into the Swampert. I'm able to get to this next power whip. I no shield this, getting cocky. It's an earthquake. I survive with 1 HP and die with the power whip loaded. And all of a sudden, this is actually a close match. So I go for the foul play against the Swampert. Do you think this KOs? Not quite. He gets to a move. I have to shield it. I don't know how much a Moonblast from a Cresselia does. I don't know exactly how much energy that thing has because I wasn't paying attention because I thought this one was in the bag. Let's see what happens. Comfortably tank it in the red and able to Volt Switch down. So yeah, that match was way closer than it needed to be. I could have very comfortably won that if I hadn't gotten cocky with no shielding, but able to pull off the 4-1 with Electrode. And now we go up against the world's most annoying Frillish. See, floats to the side. I try to throw it to the side, it floats back. Try to throw it to the center, it floats back to the side. It breaks out of the ball. I go for another Pineapple. It floats over to that side. I now have to reverse the direction I'm spinning the ball to land a throw. I get a great throw on it, curveball while it's on the side. It breaks out again. And now it finally lets me get the excellent throw. Like I said, world's most annoying Frillish changed my mind. I'm sure someone out there has had a much more annoying Frillish at some point, but yeah, garbage IV Frillish. I'm just going to save that to transfer during Shink's Community Day and go up to from 2807 to 2849. Alright, so jumping into this next set, we pick up a match against Reliable Sensei. Note that these sets weren't actually consecutive that I'm featuring here. I just want to be totally honest about that. We pick up a Talonflame lead, which is positive, and then my opponent makes a swap into Swampert, and we have a very hard Swampert answer in Ferrothorn. I am obviously no intention of shielding anything here. I'm just going to take some damage and then throw this Power Whip. And you'll notice as I'm tapping this power up, it occurs to me, I don't want to actually take the Swampert out yet because the Talonflame will hard farm me down if I do. So I'm going to just stop attacking here. And what I thought was going on right now was my opponent actually stopped attacking for a minute too because he realized he wanted to leave my health for farm. And then I go, oh crap, I just tanked an Earthquake that was completely invisible and not seen to me. But fortunately, I'm able to take the Swampert out anyway before they get to a Hydro Cannon that I'm just totally not seeing what's going on. And we get to the power up here against the Talonflame. My opponent is not buying that I have Thunder, unfortunately. And they get a decent farm on their Talonflame. Anyway, we're going to come back in with Electrode here, obviously. Throw out a Discharge. That's going to force a shield. And I'm like, alright, I resist Brave Bird, so I can tank pretty much... I decided to shield there. Oh yeah, I figured I was up on shield, so might as well save a bit of health, I guess, because I figure I can handle this. And then there's a Cresselia in the back, so I'm going to go in with Mandibuzz. This is a decent matchup. It would be better if I had Snarl, and obviously I will take super effective from the Moonblast here, but as long as there's no attack debuffs going on, this should be a decent matchup for Mandibuzz. At the very least, I should be able to close later with Electrode. So we're going to go ahead and just obviously no shield everything here. I'm saving my shield for the Electrode at this point. Mandibuzz can pretty much just tank whatever gets thrown at it. And next foul play comes through. Cresselia is going to be farming a ton of energy, and then my opponent actually makes a swap to Talonflame and decides to throw. And I'm like, alright, you want to get rid of your energy for me? That is absolutely fine with me. And at this point, shields are down. I'm just going to come in with Voltorb, shield once, and farm all the way down, and then take out the Cresselia with a foul play before my opponent gets the chance to do anything. Electrode wins CMP even if Cresselia has a move loaded. And this is going to be taking out the Cresselia. So pretty comfortable match there. Won the lead, won the swap. Decent answer in the back. Pretty much just had the alignment I wanted for that one. Not really any crazy plays going on. You will also notice I don't actually have my Electrode best buddied for this set. I kind of, I go through a bunch of buddies every day, just getting a few hearts on all of them, and actually ran out of buddy swaps when I realized, oh crap, I didn't do PvP yet, and this is what happened. Anyway, jumping into my second battle this set, we're going up against Ukrialega. We pick up a very positive lead in Empoleon, and part of why this is so positive is because I actually have a very good matchup against Empoleon with the Ferrothorn as well as the Electrode. That's part of why I switched into Drapion here, and it turns out this Drapion is actually running Aqua Tail instead of Sludge Bomb. So this is going to be a very comfortable matchup for Air Slash Mandibuzz. Although, once again, as with most of Mandibuzz's matchups, it is not very interesting. So Aerial Ace number 1 comes through, and now Aqua Tail number 3, I think, comes through. Oh, okay, the opponent actually goes for the Crunch, and they get the debuff, which I'm sure is what they were hoping for. That is unfortunate. Now, right here, they're going to go back to the Aqua Tails. That's not going to come anywhere near KOing. I throw this Aerial Ace before they get to the next Aqua Tail, even though, I mean, it's not going to KO. Doesn't really matter. I was trying to prevent a move there. Next Aqua Tail is going to be coming through. That's fine. I can tank this and just Air Slash down. So Air Slash takes it down. I come out with a move loaded. I have to throw right away, but fortunately they come back in with the Empoleon, so I do go for the neutral foul play. And at this point, I come in with Electrode on the theory that they're going to have to reveal whatever they have in the back, and that's why we have Mirror Shot, and my opponent just completely backs out, doesn't even bother playing it out till the end. So the reason I came in with Electrode there is because I knew they were going to swap out the Empoleon if I came in with Electrode, and I figured I could then either choose Electrode or Ferrothorn for whatever they had in the back and still have a positive matchup against the Empoleon. No reason to show them I have Ferrothorn yet at that point in the match. Hopping into my third battle this set, I'm going up against Nagiganite, and we get Charizard, another positive lead. Electrode is getting really good leads this set. Cresselia comes in, and I decide to go to Ferrothorn instead of Mandibuzz because, as we saw with the Moonblast earlier, Mandibuzz is not necessarily a Cresselia counter. Ferrothorn resists literally everything Cresselia has. So this is going to be very comfortable. I'm going to be able to keep switch here and also probably come out with a little bit of energy loaded. So first Power Whip comes through, next move comes through from Cresselia. This is going to be another Future Sight. No one's bothering baiting here because neither of us is expecting a shield. These moves don't really do enough to be worth shielding. Power Whip goes through. Looks like one more Power Whip and then I should be able to get some farm. This Power Whip. Cresselia is very low. I'm looking to Bullet Seed down here. But if I remember correctly, is this the one where my opponent actually swaps the Cresselia out to avoid getting... Okay, guess not. That must have been a different battle. And I get way too greedy here and try to farm all the way down with the Bullet Seeds, and I actually get taken out. So that was a misplay on my part. And now the Meganium comes in, and this is painful because if I had just played normally and kept switch instead of going for that super aggressive farm down, I could have lined up the Mandibuzz against the Meganium, and that would have been pretty much GG on the spot. But as it is, I'm going to have to make some fancy plays here. Charizard comes out. Now, basically what you'll notice I did there, I threw all my energy on Electrode, and then I was trying to catch on Mandibuzz, but the other thing is I'm going to be able to farm down this Charizard, or just completely take it out, but there's no way my opponent won't shield. So Blast Burn coming through, that's fine. Mandibuzz can take a Blast Burn. And now this foul play is going to force a shield because there's no way they're going to let me have the Mandibuzz stick around to do anything to the Meganium. Going ahead and no shielding this. Dragon Claw. The Dragon Claw doesn't even KO, but I don't quite swap to the Electrode in time. And now at this point, I'm going to have to... okay, I no-shield this because at the time I was counting and I knew it was a Dragon Claw. And now we're just going to shield everything from the Meganium and try to get to a foul play to, well, double foul plays to take it out. Alright, another move coming through from Meganium, but I don't think my opponent is quite doubled up yet, and I am. So I'm going to be able to double foul play to take out the Meganium, and then launch a single Volt Switch to finish off the Charizard. So, like I said, that would have been much more comfortable if I had just not completely thrown the Ferrothorn versus Cresselia matchup, but sometimes you get away with misplays if you still have the right team matchups. Jumping into another battle right away against Tupac Mac. And we get Electrode and Nidoqueen. Now, this is an absolutely disastrous lead. I decided to go out to the Mandibuzz, but honestly, Shadow Nidoqueen meets Mandibuzz too, so this is really not good for me. My opponent is opting to stay in against the Mandibuzz as opposed to swapping out, so that does make me curious what they have in the back. I'm kind of crossing my fingers that might be a Cresselia or something else. Or at the very least, something that Electrode can hit for big damage with Foul Play. And obviously not committing any shields to this Mandibuzz versus Nidoqueen thing. Come in with Ferrothorn to try and finish off that very healthy Nidoqueen. I wasn't able to force a shield or get switch even with my safe swap there. So, like I said, Nidoqueen is really bad for this team. Anyway, we're going to go for this Power Whip real quick against the Scrafty that came in and then get out of there before the super effective counter shred us, but this one is honestly looking like lost because this Scrafty can just throw some shields and Power Up Punch right through my remaining Pokemon. So, Discharge coming through, I'm expecting a shield, yep. Not really worth shielding even though this is absolutely terrible, because power-up punches aren't going to deal anything, but if I don't shield him, I'm just going to die with 2 shields left, so it's sort of a catch-22. Scrafty farms me all the way down, has another move loaded. At this point, I have to shield, even though it's just a power-up punch. And at this point, I'm kind of just praying, like, okay, maybe there's a chance here if they have a Swampert in the back. That's the win con, is them having a Swampert in the back to make this possible. So going for this Mirror Shot against the Shadow Nidoqueen because it's really low. Turns out that doesn't quite KO, but one more Bullet Sea will. Come on, show me the Swampert. Show me the Swampert. Yeah, that's not a Swampert. Top left. Yeah, up till the end, though, that was actually still doable if my opponent had Swampert, so it did make sense for me not to back out there. So jumping into my final battle, we are up against Piraru Club, and it is a Defense Deoxys in the lead. So this is not bad at all for Electrode. I can hit for neutral with Volt Switch and super effective with the foul plays while I'm taking neutral from counter, neutral from Rock Slide, and Psycho Boost. But basically, I'm assuming, is this thing going to have Rock Slide? Yep. But I get to the next foul play before the Defense Deoxys can get to double Rock Slides, and that is going to deal a bit more damage. Got him very low in the red, and at this point I decide to shield and farm down take switch. I'm going to be able to get to a move against pretty much anything my opponent brings in, so I think it's worth having switch in this situation. I go for the Discharge against the Scrafty. I'm not expecting a shield here because it's not a hard-hitting move. And the Scrafty farms me all the way down, but I'm not too worried about that because it has a bit of damage, and Air Slash Mandibuzz is a pretty good response to Scrafty, all things considered. So I am confused why this Scrafty is staying in, but I'm not going to commit any shields here. He can throw all the power-up punches he wants. I go for this Aerial Ace, and I'm kind of curious. I mean, if it takes it out, I'm fine with that. If it gets a shield, I'm fine with that. What do they have in the back that they really don't want to bring in against Mandibuzz? I'm getting curious at this point, but I can also just kind of Air Slash down now, and it's a Snorlax, which I guess that makes sense why they wouldn't want to bring the Snorlax in, because the Licks would be resisted against Mandibuzz, but anyway, we farm up a little bit. My opponent throws. I'm like, Mandibuzz is thick. Mandibuzz can tank this. It's a Body Slam. And then farm up a bit more, try to catch a Body Slam, and not only do we successfully catch the Body Slam, but I actually sneak a Bullet Seed through, so that was absolutely amazing for me right there, really bad for my opponent, and now I'm feeling comfortable because this Snorlax needs to get to double superpowers to take me out. One superpower won't even take out Ferrothorn at this range. I'm going to go ahead and no-shield just in case the opponent baits. They do not. But you see how comfortably I took that. Mirror Shot for the Scrafty because it's so low. That gets the shield. Scrafty throws a move. And I'm like, okay, sure. Take me out. Nope, not going to take me out. Swap to the Mandibuzz. I have an Aerial Ace loaded, if you remember. And that Snorlax is super low. And unable to lick down before I get to a foul play with Mandibuzz, which is going to finish the Snorlax off. So there you go. One shield left over. I think my opponent actually might have... I'm not sure if they got to a move that could have taken that shield. Either way, I didn't need to use it. And picking up a Sableye as our rank reward this time. Boom, caught the Sableye, 750 Stardust, absolutely amazing. Gonna go ahead and claim my rank rewards, and we are gonna go up from 2850 to 2893. So overall, should you build an Electrode for Ultra League? I would say that if you're on a tight budget, it might not be the best use of your resources, but this thing definitely surprised me. Electrode is legitimately good in this meta. I was expecting this to be a Spice video, where I might have to play the team for a few days to get my feature set, and I ended up going 21-14 overall for a 60% win rate. Instead of tanking, I actually climbed with this team. Like the video if you like the video, dislike if you dislike, drop a comment below if you want to see me run Hyper Beam Electrode, subscribe if you want to see more like this in the future, and I will see you all next time.